We've seen all the plagues that the Most High brought upon the Egyptians. 10 plagues. And heard the cry of the Egyptians that night when he came through. The death angel went through and killed. Who was Amashek Abishai? As an angel of the Most High. Went through and killed all the firstborn of the Egyptians. And they said, get him out of here, get him out of here, get him out. They let us go. He's supposed to say, hey, but he hardened Pharaoh's heart. That he can have a name, like he gonna do in these kingdoms that's in this earth now that he rules in. To get him a name. He gonna be all in all. Believe this, y'all. There ain't gonna be no God that you can think of. Look. So Aaron made this calf from the earrings of the men's wives and sons and daughters from the children of Israel. And said, O Israel, verse 4, O Israel, which brought thee out, this is the God, these are thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. Come on. And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it, and Aaron made proclamation and said, tomorrow is a feast to the Most High. With this calf in front of this altar, saying, these are thy gods. And they rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. Sound familiar? Remember, let's go to 1 Corinthians 10. Wickedness, evil. Call it evil good and good evil. 1 Corinthians 10. Moreover, brethren, verse 1, I would not have you to be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea, the Red Sea, and were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea, what we read about. And did he eat the same spiritual meat, same spiritual food that the Most High gave Moses to give to the children of Israel, we the children of Israel, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that we read about in this lesson that followed them in the cloud by day, in the fiery chariot by night. And that rock was Mashiach, as an angel of the Most High, or the Spirit of the Most High. But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things were our examples to the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. Remember, they made that calf. Neither be ye idolaters, like they made that calf, as were some of them, as it is written, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play, right? We just read that. That's why I said when you read this New Testament, they only had the law and the prophets to go by. That's all they had to go by, was the law and the prophets. That's why you read it, same thing that we just read. Listen. Exodus 32:6, and they rose up early on the morning and offered burnt offerings before this calf, and brought peace offerings, and the people sat down to eat and to drink and rose up to play. Same wording. Because that's all they had was the law and the prophets to go by. But if you understand that, then you look at something that you learned in religions. And you still ain't thought deep of the mysteries of the Most High to understand the simple thing that I just said. There was no New Testament. They only had the law and the prophets. Verse 7 of Exodus, the 32nd chapter. They have turned aside quickly out of the way, which I commanded them. They have made them a golden calf. You see? Wait a minute, excuse me. Verse 7. And the Most High said unto Moses, get thee down. Go down there, man. For thy people, he ain't even including this. He didn't even say my people. He said your people, Moses, which thou brought out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. He already dismissed us right there when he said your people. Your people, like you say, you people. Most I said, thy people, your people. Not my people, but your people. Talk about us. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a golden calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, These are thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And the Most High said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people, as I said. He said, we are stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone. He said, let me alone. Leave me alone, he said. Y'all know how that goes. Get out my face. Leave me alone. Get away from me. He said, leave me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation, like I told you. I said, hey, Moses, I'll make of thee a great nation. I'll kill all of them. And use one man to make a great nation. That's why you look. Come on, look. Let me show you something. Y'all think the Most High need all of y'all, all of us, I might say. Because I ain't excluded either. I got to work to be there too. I ain't there. I'm working to be there too, so I'm a part of it too. Just trying to make it. That's all. But let me show you how what Most High said. He said gonna make a nation out of Moses, right? A great nation out of Moses, right? Look at Isaiah, the 60th chapter, if you will. Isaiah 60 and verse 22. This is what he say. Since y'all think it's got to be a lot of people, he said, a little one shall become 1,000. 1,000. Go have 1,000 children. A little one shall become 1,000. 1,000 children. And a small one, a strong nation. Like the Most High just said, you're going to make of Moses a great nation. A small one, a strong nation. The Most High will hasten it in his time. You see? So he don't need a lot of people. We all come from Shem and Japheth and their wives. Was that 6 people? He just told Moses, I'll make out of you a great nation. He don't need a lot of people. It's the Most High who created all of us. He let you know. But see, we so high-minded in this last days, thinking that the Most High needs you because you done learned a few scriptures. Nah, that don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing to the Most High. Look what he said. Once again, Exodus 32 and 10. Now therefore let me alone. He said, leave me alone, Moses, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee, Moses, a great nation. And that's deep. That's real deep, y'all. He said he's gonna make a great nation out of Moses. What y'all think? What's your thoughts on that? Does that kind of humble you to realize that he don't need us, we need him? If you take one man and make a great nation, I just read to you, say, a little one gonna bring forth 1,000, and a small one a great nation. But going back to Exodus 32, I need to go to Deuteronomy again. Keep calling it Exodus 32 and 11. And Moses besought the Most High his power, and said, O Most High, why does thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Come on, we done made a calf and said, this is the gods that brought us out of the land of Egypt. And the Most High done gave us 10 plagues. Undeniable. And we done made a calf. And Aaron, right along with the people. That's why I say, you got to stand for the Most High. Because a lot of times, Moses and Aaron felt like the Israelites was going to kill them. They cried to the Most High. Verse 12, Moses crying to the Most High now. When he said, and Moses besought the Most High his power, and said, O Most High, why does thy wrath wax hot against thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt? He ain't saying this with no prideful voice now. When the Most High told him, let me alone, just the Most High. You think about it, the Most High tell you, let me alone, leave me alone, get on out of my face. And you gonna sit there and talk boldly to the Most High? I don't think so. When he said he'll make a nation out, a great nation out of you. And if you and not Moses, you part of the ones he said he's gonna destroy. And here you are, in this day and time, boldly going before the Most High, like hollering and screaming at the Most High, like he hearing your hollering and screaming at him. And then telling him at the end, giving him that Egyptian God name that they put strategically in this Bible to keep you from honoring the Most High and giving him the hallelujah, the ultimate praise that he deserves. Understand this? That's why it's a mystery. Certain things that you seeing and hearing, you got to change. You keep on doing the same things. I ask you, would Mashiach Shai tell you to give him homage before the Most High at the end of every prayer that you pray? I don't think so. Did he pray to himself? When he was on the earth in the flesh, he was praying to himself, I guess. So some of y'all say Most High came down in the flesh and died, let the white man kill him, huh? Y'all some sick people, man. Y'all real sick. The Most High came down in the flesh and he allowed a white man who killed him, the Romans, he allowed him to be killed by the so-called white man. Who was he praying to? Himself? I mean, that's why I say it's a lot of things that I can't say people that have common sense, because a lot of people don't have common sense. They don't really think. They're not analytical thinkers, so it's like you just believe whatever it is that you have heard and regurgitating that type of spirit, because that's who you are. But those that are on a high level of understanding gonna come out of that and realize, man, I've been duped, I've been fooled, I've been lied to. The Most High said, I'm gonna kill all of them. I'm gonna kill all of us. We wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for this cry that Moses just crying out to the Most High. In verse 11, and Moses besought the Most High his power and said, Most High, why does thy wrath wax hot against thy people? Your people. Yours a personal possessive pronoun showing ownership. We belong to the Most High, which thou hast brought forth out of the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand. What are you doing there? He exalting the Most High. Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, this wisdom, y'all. For mischief did he bring them out, to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth. You gonna let the Egyptians say that? Turn from thy fierce wrath and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. Because Jacob's name was changed to Israel. The Most High is the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Israel. Thy servants, to whom thou swear by thine own self. See, this is wisdom. That the Most High swear by his own self, and saith unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. And all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. So you understand what he did here? He reminded the Most High of what he said. And remember, we read that the Most High is not a man that he should lie. So he said this. That's why Moses going back. This is what our forefathers did. You know, they went back to the time where the Most High said this, or this happened. This is what we got to do. We got the whole volume of the book, though, to look at what our forefathers said and what they did and what they reminded the Most High of. That he said. He's not a man he should lie. So once that's brought upon him, what he said. Because he's not going to lie, because he's righteous. Ain't no liars going to the kingdom. So he can't be lying. He's not going to lie. And whatever he do is righteous, you see. Evil only comes to those that's evil and do evil. Verse 14. And the Most High repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. You hear that? The Most High felt sorry. He repented of the evil which he thought to do to us, the children of Israel. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the two tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written. And the tables were the work of the Most High, and the writing was the writing of the Most High, graven upon the tables. Remember it said by the finger of the Most High he did this? So you going to tell me, preachers, that this is null and void? When the Master said, don't even think that I come to destroy the law and the prophets, which only thing that he had to go by when he was on the earth. Show me that he went by anything else. Because his New Testament was compiled in the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. I got the Council of Nicaea right here. Anybody want to know what it says? I got it right here. Wicked Constantine changed the Sabbath day to the first day of the week. Look at the calendar. Most I say the seventh day is his holy day. Look at the calendar. You can put a 2-year, I put my 2-year-old granddaughter. Say, look, what's the first day of the week? And show just the first, when is the last day of the week? Bam, that's where it is. That's where we honor the Sabbath. And y'all analytical, really deep thinkers thinking you honor the Most High on the first day of the week. It's cold, man. Why we destroyed for lack of knowledge. We can't even look at a calendar and see that's the first day of the week. All the days named after gods. So you calling on gods, and most I say don't let that come out of your mouth. When you say these days of the week, most I say first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day. That's what we need to learn how to do. Or you still calling on other gods. You're going to provoke the Most High to anger. Then here it is. You're going to say, he know my heart. Yeah, he know your mind. He know that you've heard it. And if we don't practice what's right, we're not going to do what's right. You know? I start making people think. Well, I look at the calendar, first day, second day, third day. You know what the third day is? Calendar. Okay, now who's smart and who's not smart? Now you can start thinking, I never thought about that. Because the gods are by the names of these days of the week. Those are gods. They named after gods. See, remember the heathen know that we went to captivity for what? Our iniquity. So what you think they're going to do? They're going to have you all the time dealing with things that are contrary to the Most High. You see, we made that calf, the Most High said, I'm going to destroy all of them. He's going to kill all of us. So now here we are calling on gods all the time. It's not the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Other gods. They named after gods. Every last day of the week. When you worshiping on the first day of the week, the sun god. These spirits and people. And that's what we got to deal with. And you look at it, okay, wow, here they come. And you know that there's spirits in them because they're following the way of the heathen. Look. They trusted in what is the Most I say we're not supposed to be doing. But we love to have it so. We continue to do what it is he said. Look Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 12 and 10. It says, never trust who? Thine enemy, your enemy. So last I read Deuteronomy 28:68, the last curse that befell the children of Israel, said Deuteronomy 1:1 said, these be the words that Moses spake to all Israel on this side of Jordan. So the book of Deuteronomy is talking to us, the Israelites. Deuteronomy 28:68 says, and the Most High shall send thee into Egypt, which means captivity, slavery, and bondage. Exodus 20:2 defines Egypt as captivity, slavery, and bondage. The Most High is going to send you into captivity, slavery, and bondage, Egypt, again another time with ships. By the way, where I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And as a nation, we have not seen our homeland of Israel again. And there, when you go on these ships, you shall be sold unto your enemies. Not your friends, but to your enemies. For what? For bondmen, slave men, and bondwomen, slave women. And no man shall buy you, meaning no man gonna redeem us from this captivity that the Most High put us in, but the Most High. Period. That's why I told you in verse 29, and no man shall save thee. Ain't no man gonna redeem you. I don't care. Y'all look up to man if you want to. Ain't no man gonna redeem us. So that's why he said in Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy. Never, it said, never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Last I read, Job 9:24 says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Come on. Prove this right to be right. Prove that to be right. We know he's white, but prove it to be white. Him to be white and him to be right. It says, never in your life trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, and yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, you can see right through him. And thou shalt know that his rust, or that wickedness, has not been altogether wiped away, because he was made for the day of wickedness, the day of evil. He's doing what he's supposed to do. That way he said never trust him, because he's doing what he's supposed to do and being evil. You know? But our people, hey, right now, our people following and trusting the enemy. From there, let's look at 2 Chronicles, the 11th chapter. And start at verse 1. I'm going to look at verse 1. 2 Chronicles 11 and 1, so you understand the story. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered of the house of Judah. Rehoboam is Solomon's son. House of Judah and Benjamin and 140,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against Israel, against our brothers in northern tribes. Because remember, the kingdom was split after King Solomon died. And his son Rehoboam took over. So the Most High split the kingdom under him. But the word of the Most High came to Shemaiah, the man of the Most High, saying, speaking to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and to all Israel in Judah and Benjamin, saying, thus said the Most High, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren. Return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of the Most High and returned from going against Jeroboam. But Jeroboam was the leader, was the Ephraimite of the northern tribes, who made 2 calves. See, this is who brought us out of Egypt. Because all 12 tribes were in the Egyptian captivity. And we all 12 were in the wilderness together. See. So, look at Let's look at start at verse 12. It says, and in every several city he put shields and spears and made them exceeding strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possessions. Because remember, the Levites didn't have a possession of lands. They were among all the tribes and came to Judah and Jerusalem. But Jeroboam kicked the Levites, the true priests of the Most High, out. And this is what he did. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possession and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto the Most High. So he got rid of the true priests, the Levites. He got rid of them. So what did he do? And he ordained him priests for the high places and for the devils. See that? And for the devils and for the calves which he had made. Remember, I told you he made 2 calves. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the Most High power of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the Most High power of their fathers. You see, all the northern tribes didn't go with Jeroboam. Some of them came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So they strengthened the kingdom of Judah and made Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, strong 3 years. For 3 years they walked in the way of David and Solomon. See? So that's why I say you're looking at wicked Israelites of the northern tribes who made 2 calves. Remember, they was there when Aaron made that 1 calf. When Jeroboam came into power, he made 2 calves. And he said, verse 15 said, he ordained him priests for the high places. The abominable places that he made. And for the devils, you know, and for the devils, and for the calves which he had made. Hear that? Wicked Israelites. Most I say, leave them alone. They deal with idolatry. Demons, man. Place of worship. Devils and demons. And it's 2 calves that he made. And Israel went right along with it. Now let's go to Zechariah 13. And look at verse 1 and 2. In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness, through the power of the Most High. And it shall come to pass in the future. In that day, said the Most High, power of hosts, power of armies, power of angels, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. Hear that? He gonna cut off all the idols out of the land. They shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass that when any shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, Thou shalt not live. Thou shalt not live. But thou speakest lies in the name of the Most High. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesieth. You know? His own daddy and his own mother gonna kill him when he prophesied. It shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he hath prophesied. Neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. They ain't gonna be wearing Israelite clothes. But he shall say, I am no prophet. I am an husbandman, I'm a farmer. But man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one shall say unto him, What are these wounds in thy hands? Then he shall answer and say, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. Whose hands and feet was wounded? The Mashiach Yahushua. Gonna say, wake, O sword, against my shepherd and against the man that is my fellow, said the Most High. O hosts of armies of angels, smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn mine hand upon the little ones. Smite the shepherd for the 12 tribes of Israel. And the sheep gonna run, gonna be scattered. We the sheep. He will turn his hand upon the little ones. That's going to have faith in him, keeping his laws, commandments. You see, and it shall come to pass that in all the lands that we've been scattered in, said the Most High, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. 2/3 of our people are going to be cut off and die, of the Israelites. But the 1/3 shall be left therein. You see? 1/3, or you hear saying only 1/3, at least I'm saying, through the Spirit of the Most High, only 1/3 will be left therein. And I will bring the 1/3 through the fire. The fire is the word of the Most High. The fire is the affliction that the Most High said He's going to put us in. In our affliction, we're going to seek Him early? Oh, yeah. Who He loves, He chastens, and that fire is His word. And will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name. Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I will hear them, and Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, the Most High is my power. That's not anyone. Because he said, I'm going to say they my people. Who's the Most High people? Who he say my people are? Exodus 3 and 10. It's not everyone. Exodus 3 and 10. And when you understand this and really look at what it is that you're hearing, and change, you get rid of these spirits that you're dealing with. Exodus 3 and 10. Take the time, go through these precepts. You get to understand through the precepts. Exodus 3 and 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, he told Moses, that thou mayest bring forth my people. Who's the Most High's people? Who's the my people? The children of Israel out of Egypt, you see? So we are the children of Israel, the Most High's people. When it says my people, the children of Israel. So now, these spirits have been in part of our ancestors as we read this Bible. Look at 1 Samuel's. Look at Saul. 1 Samuel's, the 16th chapter. 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter. Let's look at verse 1, what the Most High said. And the Most High said unto Samuel, the prophet, after he told Saul, who was our first king, Most High done took the kingdom from you. And the Most High said unto Samuel, how long wilt thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thine horn with oil. Fill your horn up with oil. And go, I will send thee to Jesse, the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. He was talking about King David. You see? So now, once Samuel anointed David to be king, verse 13, then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him, who was King David, in the midst of his brethren. They all up thought it was going to be them. But now it was young David. He anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Most High came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But listen to this closely. but the Spirit of the Most High departed from Saul. So the Spirit of the Most High departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him. Like I told you, the Most High is righteous. But when you do evil, then the Most High send an evil spirit on you. So now do you recognize this evil spirit? Let's see what happened. And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold, now an evil spirit from the Most High troubleth thee. Because the Most High told him, hey, when you go to fight Amalek, kill them all. And don't take none of their cattle to sacrifice unto me. And Saul left the king. He saved the king. And took the calves and certain animals to sacrifice to the Most High. The Most High say, hey, a lot of times he say, don't touch nothing they got. I don't want none of they got. Nothing they got. Don't take no spoils. So when Samuel came, he chopped that Edomite up into pieces. First Samuel 15:32. Then says Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Ahag, the king of the Amalekites. And Ahag came unto him delicately, tiptoeing. Oh, man, what is he going to do? And Ahag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As thy sword has made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Ahag in pieces before the Most High in Gilgal. You think he wasn't able? What you think? Chopping up animals all day? You can't chop a man up? Oh, yeah, he chopped him up in pieces, as it says. And Samuel hewed, meaning he chopped Ahag in pieces before the Most High in Gilgal. Now, 1 Samuel 16:14, but the Spirit of the Most High departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him. You hear that? Because he had done evil. That's why y'all think in y'all wildest dreams you can do whatever you want to do, and there's not going to be no repercussion behind the Most High when you do evil. You hear what it said? But the Spirit of the Most High departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him because he done evil. He didn't do what the Most High said do. If we don't do what the Most High do, he can send evil spirits on us. Like a lot of people running around with evil spirits don't even realize it's normal. And Saul's servant said unto him, because he done changed, he ain't the same. Behold, now an evil spirit from the Most High troubleth thee. He said, let our master now command thy servants which are before thee to seek out a man who is a cunning player of an harp. And it shall come to pass when the evil spirit from the Most High is upon thee, that he shall play with his hand, and thou shalt be well. And Saul said unto his servants, Provide me now a man that can play well, and bring him to me. Then answered one of the servants and said, Behold, I have seen a son of Jesse the Bethlehemite, that is cunning and plain, and a mighty valiant man, and a man of war, imputed in matters, and a comely person, very beautiful, handsome, I might say, and the Most High is with him. Wherefore Saul sent messengers unto Jesse and said, Send me David thy son, which is with the sheep. So David started coming among Saul, but David was already ordained to be king. So Saul was jealous of him. Verse 23. And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from the Most High, keep that in mind, from the Most High, was upon Saul, that David took an harp and played with his hand. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. You see, when David played, that's why you look at these psalms are songs that David's playing and singing. These songs that are called psalms. All 150, 51, whatever, how many psalms it is, chapters, he's singing songs. He's playing the harp and singing songs. They were songs. It's a lot of work. But when he played, the evil spirit that was on Saul departed from him. Look at 1 Samuel 18. This is when they came in from war. Verse 6. And it came to pass as they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistine, killed Goliath, that the women came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing, to meet King Saul, with tabrets and with joy and with instruments of music. Women came out playing music, tambourines, and got this music going. And the women answered one another as they played this music, and said, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. See that? See these women singing songs, and Saul hearing it. David killed tens of thousands, and Saul only killed thousands. And Saul was very wroth. He got angry. And the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed unto David 10,000s, and to me they have subscribed but thousands. And what can he have more but the kingdom? The kingdom? And Saul eyed David from that day and forward, envied him, jealous of him. It came to pass on the morrow that the evil spirit from the Most High came upon Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of the house. And David played with his hand, as at other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand. He got this evil spirit on him. Understand it? So some people have this evil in them, and even though he played and the evil spirit would leave Saul, this time Saul got a javelin in his hand, because he already got this deep, deep envy for David. And that playing that he's playing is not taking that evil spirit out of Saul, but it's still there. And Saul cast a javelin, for he said, I will smite, I will kill David, even to the wall wherewith. And David avoided out of his presence twice. Therefore, he threw that javelin at him twice, kill him. And Saul was afraid of David, because the Most High was with him and was departed from Saul. Therefore, Saul removed him from him and made him his captain over 1,000. And he went out and came in before the people. David, a warrior. You see. But over and over again, he's trying to kill David. So let's go to Matthew the 8th chapter and verse 28. You see, these spirits get into you, what you gonna do? If you let them rage in you, matter of fact, let me show you before I go there. Well, we can go here, Matthew the 8th chapter and verse 28. And when he was come to the other side, into the country of the Gergesenes, there met him two possessed with devils, right? Coming out of the tombs, exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by that way. You couldn't even go by that way, because these men were consumed with these devils, evil spirits, so fierce that no man even went by them. And behold, they cried out, saying, what have we to do with thee, Yahushua, thou Son of the Most High? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? Hear that? So they know they got a certain time they're going to be what? Tormented. And there was a good way off from them a herd of many swine feeding. These are pigs, hogs. They were feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. If you cast us out, he said, suffer us to go into the herd of swine, these pigs. And he said unto them, go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters. This was legions. 2,000 spirits that went into these hogs and went running down the hill. To show you that the Most High don't give a dang about no pork, no pig. Why would the Most High do it? That was somebody's money. He let them go into them pigs, them hogs, and they ran down the hill and drowned in the sea. And they that kept them fled and went their ways into the city and told everything and what was fallen to the possess of the devils. You know, everybody was afraid of them. 2,000 spirits. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Mashiach Yahushua, and when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coast. Get out of here. What did it say? And behold, the whole city came out to meet Mashiach Yahushua. And when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coast. Get on out of here. Get out of our city. Now, it just shows you how, verse 28 says, and when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gergeses, there met him two possessed with devils. They got demons in them. Coming out of the tombs, coming out of the graveyards, the tombs. Exceeding fierce, it says. So that no man might pass by that way. Did nobody even go that way? You couldn't even go that way because they were so fierce. You couldn't even go that way, but they still said, get out of our city. Casting out them demons, legions out of these two men. Wow. It's crazy, right? But that's what he had to deal with. That's what we had to deal with. People don't want to, people don't want these spirits to be cast out. Let us alone. Let us deal with these spirits that they're dealing with. And some have them, they don't care. Look at Mark, the 5th chapter. Verse 2. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, not with chains. Nobody could even bind this man with chains, because that he had, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. Now, so like it, just those were two spirits. The spirits that was in the man, they ran down the hill in the swine, right? Listen, this is legion right here. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs crying and cutting himself with stones, cutting himself up with stones. These are spirits, people cutting themselves. There's spirits in them. But when he saw Mashiach Yahushua far off, he ran and worshipped him and cried with a loud voice and said, what have I to do with thee, Yahushua, thou son of the most high power? I adjure thee by the most high that thou torment me not. Knowing the most high is in a Mashiach Yahushua, that he could torment these spirits. For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name? He said, what's your name? Talking to the unclean spirit. And he answered, saying, my name is Legion. He said, my name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there were there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding, and all the devils besought him, saying, send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. And forward Mashiach gave them leave, and the unclean spirits, these devils, went out and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down the sheep's place into the sea. There were about 2,000. See, there goes the number. There were about 2,000 and were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done. See. And they come to a Mashiach Yahushua and see him that was possessed with the devil and had the legion, 2,000 spirits, mind you, evil spirits, sitting and clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of the coast. Get on out of here. Get on out of here. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Said, let me go with you. Howbeit the Mashiach suffered him not, but said unto him, go home to thy friends and tell them how great things the Most High have done for thee. You see, he ain't taking no credit for himself. And have had compassion on thee. See. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Yahushua had done for him. And all men did marvel. See. But the Mashiach would tell people, hey, I've done this. But don't tell nobody. He just told them to tell him what the Most High has done. But they went and said, hey, Mashiach did it. See. Look, let's jump in verse 25. And a certain woman, which had an issue of blood 12 years. So this woman had an issue of blood 12 years. Bleeding for 12 years, y'all. And has suffered many things of many physicians. They couldn't cure it. They couldn't stop her from bleeding. And has spent all that she had, all the money she had. It was nothing better. She never got better, but rather grew worse in her bleeding. 12 years, that's a long time, y'all. When she had heard of a Mashiach Yahushua, came in the press behind, because a lot of people, you know, she's in the midst of a lot of crowd, and touched his garment. She touched his garment.